All right, Bulls and Bears, we're back with another dose of economic reality. My name is JJ, and you're watching Bull Boom Bear Bust. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We've got restaurants filing bankruptcies here in America a lot, and we're going to talk about a couple that just came out in the past few weeks, but it's going to continue. It's going to accelerate, and you know this, I know this. There's no getting out of this without this happening, right? So on one hand, we've got the push for higher wages, but then on the other hand, businesses can't pay higher wages because of the slowdown in customers and the slowdown in traffic because of the economy, because so many people are buried under tons of debt. There's no way out of it, right? So we need to see some sort of collapse. They're going to do everything they can to kick the can further down the road. New innovative, quote unquote, innovative mortgages are coming out. 0% down payments are back for mortgages. Government's buying most of the mortgages now. The government's backing the non-bank lenders, and that's about over 80% of all mortgages given out. So you wonder why prices haven't corrected, why home prices haven't come down. That's why, folks. It's manipulated. It's a pyramid scheme, basically. This whole economy is propped up on people borrowing money and spending money they don't have. And then they put that in the economic growth category. In the meantime, most people are buried under so much debt they'll never get out of it. Just look at the 30-year mortgage. 30-year mortgage to pay off a loan or to pay off a home, they're going to have to extend that to 40 years or 50 years. People are actually thinking that's a good idea when that's more of the problem. And extending the terms, now I was just talking about what's 8, 9 year car loans that was in the news just to what last week we were talking about that. They're talking about extending the same things that caused the problems to begin with. Financing is the problem. Banks loaning out money that they don't have is a problem, right? We have a zero fractional system where banks can loan out money even though they don't have it. They don't have the money, right? That's been made legal, right? Can you do that? Well, you can kind of spend money you don't have on because of credit card, right? You don't have the money, but you're spending it. And then if you're like many people, you'll end up filing bankruptcy because you can't pay off the debt. But you did have a lot of fun running up the debt on the way there. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this story here. Rubio's. This is how it was being reported out of the Post. California fish taco chain Rubio's Postal Grill files for bankruptcy after minimum wage law cripples business. Another example of how the government coming in and thinking they're going to help or make things better is actually even worse. So now instead of not making enough money to keep up with the cost of living, these people are going to have to go look for another job. And I'm kind of laughing, but I'm not laughing. It's kind of in between. I mean, it's so absurd, you almost have to laugh because how can they think that this is going to be the solution? Forcing restaurants to pay more when restaurants are barely getting by because people already can't afford to eat at these places. Sure, they could just raise prices and then they're going to watch their traffic go down even more. Why do you think Burger King and McDonald's both came out with a value meal? What a $5 value meal. And I don't even think they have the dollar menu anymore. I think that's been eliminated, kind of like the 99-cent stores gone bankrupt here in California. These businesses, these companies can't get by. Consumers are too tapped out and maxed out on their credit cards. People are starting to pull back. And there's certain things that people will never go without. Things they have to have. Entertainment's one of them. I know people that personally spend so much money on entertainment, but yet they have to borrow money from relatives to pay their utility bills. Right? Imagine that you spend money on entertainment, things you don't need. Entertainment, baseball games, Netflix, cable TV, which is sometimes close to $200 a month. You spend money on entertainment, which you don't need unless you're addicted. Then you can justify that you need it because you're going to go through withdrawals. But these same people that I know, these people borrow money from relatives to be able to pay their utility bills. Right? That's how silly. And I don't think this is unusual. This is just somebody I happen to know. I don't even think that's unusual. I think that's how most people are. Right? They want what they want. They want it now. That's the American way. I want it. I want it now. Buy now, pay later, which is a whole different financing scheme, much bigger today than we didn't see back in the 2008 financial crisis, where these lenders will go out and give you money. It doesn't appear on your credit report, from what I read. So people are kind of getting away without that appearing on their debt. So the debt that we talk about here, that we've framed here many times as being unsustainable. People can never pay it off. The debt's too much. It's actually much worse when you look at all this buy now, pay later schemes. And by the way, this article that I pulled up has a section about another restaurant right below it, Red Lobster, also bankrupt. Right, so people are pulling back on the spending. Of course, there's things that they'll never stop doing. Entertainment's one of them. It's very difficult, especially when your life is just boring. Right, I think a lot of people fall into this routine, and some people will call it a rut, where they go to work, they come home, go to sleep, get up, do it all over again, cook a meal, whatever, and their lives are just like their lives are so monotonous, and it's just a boring routine that people have gotten into. They want to escape with whatever it is, watching TV shows, watching movies, Netflix. They want to escape, right? Same reason I think why people turn to substance abuse and they start drinking and they start doing other things, right? People's lives have turned into being this debt servant on the hamster wheel. You just go and go and go. You work, you pay bills, you work, you pay bills. And for many people, after 10, 20, 30 years, you still have nothing. You're lucky if you pay off your home. And that's a whole nother topic. Very few people actually are paying off their homes now. In fact, if you look at all the home loans out there, if you look at actually home ownership, first of all, nationwide, it's a little over 60%. But of that 60%, only one fourth of them only sorry one hit my mic only one fourth of those 60% actually have their homes paid off. So when you look at home ownership, if you look at just people that have their home paid off and own their home, you're talking about 15%, right? Very, and it's probably closer to 10%. I'd have to look, but it's a very small number. And even then, you're still paying rent to the government. Property taxes never go away. So that's what I mean about this whole debt wheel. Even people that are retired, they can't get by on Social Security. You would think when you're retired, okay, everything's fine. I've worked my whole life. Now I get this monthly check to help me get by, and it's not enough. So people are having to go back to work. People, older individuals, retired people moving in with their kids. And it's just going to continue to get worse until something breaks, right? There's got to be a plug that gets pulled on this entire system of finance, right? The way people can spend money that they don't have, the way banks can loan out money that they don't have. And we know ever since the early 70s, this money is just digits on a screen. It's not real money. That's why some of us, well, I wasn't alive back then, but some people were upset that we went off of the gold standard. They saw this coming decades ago, that if you don't have a restriction or some sort of limit on the spending, then this is going to happen. The cost of living is going, it has to skyrocket. If you don't have a limit on the amount of money that can be created, quote unquote created, it's going to happen. It's just the way the laws of finance and the laws work. It's the rule, the law of the land, so to speak. All right, but speaking of a severely slowing economy, let's go ahead and get into some other news here. And I think this is another statistic or piece of data here that's going to make it pretty clear on what's happening right now. It's at a Fast Company. U.S. job openings fall to 3-year low in April. 3-year low, folks. This takes us out of takes us back to what, 2021. We were just coming out of the health crisis and all the shutdowns and all the slowdowns that came along with that. So a 3-year low. The ratio, which is watched closely by Jerome Powell, is a sign of labor market tightness. It's could they justify doing rate cuts even though inflation's still bad and prices are still going up, cost of living is still going up? Could they take one of these numbers or pieces of data, and could they use this to say, oh, we need to cut rates because we need to help the labor market, right? We need more jobs. So therefore we need people to be able to go and spend money, and that's going to generate economic growth because people are going to spend more money because they can borrow more because rates are low, and that'll create jobs, right? How long is that going to last? The people that have credit cards that are close to being maxed out, or if you're 1 in 5 people, you're already maxed out. What's a lower interest rate going to do at that point if you're maxed out, right? It may stop the timing of the bankruptcy. Maybe instead of filing bankruptcy 2 months from now, you'll file it 3 months from now. But besides that, it's not going to do much, right? It might just delay the timing on some of this, right? So that's what a lot of this is, folks. It's got to play out. Be on the lookout though for a black swan situation to pop up here with all the wars going on. I could go into that, but there's too much going on to even touch here. On this channel, I think most of you know what's going on. So on one hand, get ready for the rug pull with whatever's going to bring this system down. But on the other hand, be ready for the long haul with inflation continuing to go. If they keep kicking the can down the road, folks, it's going to be the worst of the two scenarios. The better of the two scenarios is a collapse. With a collapse, like 2008, that was basically a collapse. Didn't happen overnight, but it happened pretty quickly. A collapse is better because it gets it done, it gets it over with. It does catch more people off guard, so it's worse in that aspect. But as far as getting things out in the open and done, a collapse is better. Everybody knows what happened. You can pick up the pieces, try to look and see what happened. When a collapse, if and when a collapse does happen, everybody's going to be looking and trying to figure out why this happened. Right now, nobody has a clue, right? Except for a few people, maybe a fraction of 1% of the population. Actually, people on this channel are probably close to the fraction of the 1%. But most people have no idea. They think the economy's strong. They believe what's coming out of the 6 o'clock news, and it's completely ridiculous. All right. So hope you guys like this. What do you know about the restaurant closings? What do you think? Especially if you're in California, tell me what you think about this. Rubio's, did you go there? As a taco place. They also had burrito bowls, stuff like that, kind of like Chipotle, but more towards fish and tacos and stuff like that. Another restaurant bites the dust. It is a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, so they could reorganize their way out of this. If they do, I don't see them reopening or continuing operations here in California. They closed 40 something locations, including 13 here in San Diego. So I think they're going to be completely gone out of California here when this is done. We'll have to see how it plays out, but we told you here it was going to happen. We told you these regulations only come back to bite in the end. And that's the name of the game. Things continue to get worse. The snowball's getting bigger. Everybody keep bracing. Make sure you subscribe. Come back for more updates. Big love. Keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.